everyone, and welcome to a studio. Welcome, Bryan Ceresne. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, Bryan, let's say Canadian Jewish community?
Well, I'm a member of the Jewish Defense League in Toronto.
Okay.
And I'm here to talk a little bit about that, hopefully, and
Yes.
a little bit about Mayor Weinstein, who is the director, the Canadian director of the Jewish Defense League. And between those two subjects, I think we could be here for a long time.
Absolutely. But I want to start talking about just a few minutes to give them some honor of those that were killed, or I like to say they were really murdered in Pittsburgh, October 27th. There was a lot of talk that I've heard in communities and TV and, the U.S. Communities that some say that they should have had some kind of protection. Something should have, some guards.
Security.
Some security, something should have been there. And then I hear some on the other side, this is not the answer. So what is the answer? How do we protect ourselves when we go to synagogue, to Jewish school? I mean, I know here, I'm just going to say, I know here because I live in Toronto and my kids used to go to, Hebrew school. It was always, whenever something happened in Israel, we were terrified that something will happen. But I know they had security. I know that you couldn't just walk into that school just because you wanted to. It was, very secure. And I know a lot of our synagogue here have security. So what do you say to that?
Well, I mean, these are different times. And the truth is, it is a tragedy that we have to secure our Hebrew day schools and our houses of worship. It shouldn't be that way. But we're living in a different reality.
Yep.
And the reality today is we need to protect ourselves. And until something changes radically, this is our reality. We have to take care of ourselves.
It is. It's terrible that they were just murdered just because they were Jews.
Well, I mean,
nothing has, really, guys, nothing has changed. It's been like this for centuries. But it's terrible. I thought things would be different. I mean, in my time, anyway.
No, I agree. I mean, what's the difference between a terrorist in the Middle East and this guy? There's no difference. They're both terrorists. They were both terrorists.
And they all want to kill us.
And they want to destroy the Jews, and they want to destroy Israel. Except today, they don't call it the Jews. They say the Zionist state.
It's the same thing, guys.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Exactly.
So let's just honor them. I'm going to, show you just, all their names. And
it's so sad.
It is very, very sad, especially, to get to that age, because a lot of them were older, and to die like that, and inside, inside our synagogue, it's. I have no words of sadness. I just have no words. I like to continue beyond that. So,
well,
it's very hard to continue. Sheshman Baruch, that's all I can say. Yep. So tell me, today, the JDL, the Jewish Defense League, how important is the existence of JDL? I
think, well, I know that the Jewish Defense League is really taking a leading role in this city, in this province, and probably across the country. We've set up other chapters. We have a wonderful chapter in Calgary. We're working with people in Vancouver. We're trying to get Montreal and Quebec online. And really, we are the boots on the ground. We're not the emailers who say, oh, this is terrible, this is terrible. No, that's not us. We're the boots on the ground. We're the guys who are down in Dundas Square picketing, against the forces of hate against Israel, against the Jewish people. We're the people out at the Palestine House picketing against the Palestinians. We're the people confronting these people on Al-Quds Day who won't, who have this terrible narrative that Israel has no right to exist and we were here first. No, we're the people out there, freezing in the winter sometimes, going out to all kinds of rallies to show the mainstream media that there is truly another side to this story.
I want to tell you that a few years ago, I organized with another girl like a rally for Israel on Dundas Street, downtown.
Famous place.
And I knew we needed some kind of security. I mean, this was the first time I ever did anything like this. And I want to tell you that I called the JDL within seconds. They said yes, and they were there, and it was amazing. We felt safe. They were, all the guys were there.
We really do try to make a difference.
Honest to God, it was like, it's a true story.
No, I believe you. And we've been called to many events to provide security above and beyond the security that they may already be paying for, because they want us as the inner circle. We're almost the first line of defense. We're not armed or anything like that, but we know martial arts, and we know how to protect ourselves, and we know how to protect the people around us who are depending on us.
So tell me, I mean, I hear also the other side say, no, JDL, no. JDL is, people are afraid of what you stand for. So let's clear it up.
Well, okay, first of all, the comments we get, oh, JDL's been banned, it's outlawed. First of all, that was in the United States, number one. Number two, that was a long, long time ago, and we're not the same organization. We basically have different, our objectives are the same, and that's the protection of the state of Israel and to confront anti-Semitism. Yep. All those objectives are the same, but we're not that organization, and we shouldn't be equated with something from 30 years ago, okay? Things have changed.
Yeah, but people don't know.
And so why people are just using that as an excuse. Oh, JDL, terrorist organization, banned in the United States. First of all, they were never banned in the United States. There was certain individuals within the organization that were ran into some difficulties. So the organization was never banned, and we're not anywhere, shape, or form any kind of terrorist organization. We're an organization that protects our people. That's what we want to do. That's what we're doing here in the city.
So Mayor Weinstein, I know him very well. So he's the head of the JDL in Canada, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Mayor is an amazing individual.
Yes,
honestly,
he is.
People who know him really understand that's even saying it lightly. Mayor's been basically confronting hate against the Jewish community, against the state of Israel for 35 years. Okay, I mean, his history starts with he was a Nazi hunter trying to find Nazis in Canada. Zundel, he was very responsible providing important information that ultimately led.
That I didn't know about him.
Ultimately led to his deportation. So Mayor started back 35 years ago and worked very diligently with Nazi hunters. But you know what? Truthfully, that was just a warm-up for what's going on now. Because for a while, the JDL kind of dropped down because we saw that we thought we were in a new world. Anti-Semitism was something that was kind of like great and, Hakol Beseder. But truthfully, what we're seeing now is quite the opposite. All of a sudden, we see the the emergence of Al-Quds. What's Al-Quds Day? BDS, apartheid, Israel, the apartheid state. This is all saying the same thing. We do not want the state of Israel in this world.
People know what apartheid is.
They don't know.
Don't they read?
People read the
Israel cannot be and is not apartheid.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
You have a left of narrative out there. You have the universities that are infested with these Middle Eastern studies that are financed by Saudi Arabia, by Iran, and all they're doing is filling these little empty heads with incorrect information. And people don't read, they don't research anymore. They read the first 3 lines, they listen to CNN or other mainstream media like that, and they're just getting a totally distorted picture. So right now, Mayor is in Israel, and just a quick little aside, Mayor is in Israel. He's at the Meir Kahane Memorial. Everybody knows that Meir Kahane basically was the beginning of the Jewish Defense League, and people who know Meir Kahane, I mean, some people think he's a visionary because everything he said, everything Meir Kahane talked about before
is really coming true. I've listened to him.
True. It's
you don't have to be a righty or a lefty or a middle. It doesn't matter. Listen to what he has to say.
Truthfully, you could almost say he was a prophet.
Yeah, because what he's saying is coming true.
So what happened in Israel, Mayor spoke at the Meir Kahane Memorial.
Okay.
He was up there. He was asked to speak. He uploaded a very passionate speech about what's happening with anti-Semitism and everything in the world today. Uploaded it to Facebook. You know how fast it took for Facebook to shut that down?
Why?
Why? Because Facebook is now our new police force out there, the social media police force.
But it only polices one side.
Oh, well, but that's what
we can't figure out. Only one side.
Why is Facebook only policing the right side, the conservative side,
Well,
the
we're
conservative
going to show you what Mary had to say in Israel. We're going to listen to his
What we have
speech
to
now.
do, what we have to do, and this is the message. I fight anti-Semitism very hard in Canada and in North America. I see radical Islam, which Islamic leaders say is actually normative Islam. They hate our guts. They want Israel destroyed. They call the Arabs in Gaza that are burning fields in Israel, they call them freedom fighters and peaceful demonstrators. What we must demand is that a couple of things. One, that the Knesset meets in a session and issues a posthumous apology to the Kahana movement. And we have to work as hard as possible that these fine gentlemen that follow the footsteps of our rabbi, that they're successful and they have the strength and the koach and the support base to propel them into the Knesset in the next election. After every single terror attack, Arabs in Israel and in the territories, if you call it that, are giving out sweets and candies in celebration. Has anything been done to those mobs of people? Has anything been done to the mobs of Arabs who support their representatives to the Knesset here, who say that Israel as a Jewish state has no right to exist? We have to be in the Knesset now. And we have to roll up our sleeves and get behind these people.
Wow,
Thank you very
powerful
much.
speech.
Rakach.
So that's what's happening. So we're confronting the leftist narrative, the leftist media, the leftist social media, not just the mainstream media. And it's very difficult for people to understand that there is another side to the story, and it has to be told. And that's what the JDL is about. We are out there showing the other side of the story, but we're on the streets.
But you're not enough. Everybody else has to help.
We're
It's
not
enough.
enough. We don't have the resources. We're not a B'nai B'rith. We don't have the resources. We need the people resources. We need the financial resources. And the tragedy is we need the young people resources. If you look at the members of the JDL, we're not getting any younger. That's the problem. And so where are all these kids that should be out there fighting for Israel? You know, they're
Never. You know what? Yes, fighting for Israel, but fighting here against anti-Semitism here. Never mind just Israel. It's here every day.
Right.
I see it.
right. Well, Pittsburgh was the wake-up call. Tragically, Pittsburgh was the wake-up call.
You
and
think?
to think that that won't happen in Canada, I think you're very, very naive. Most of the synagogues here and the day schools and that do have security, okay? But
Because
it's not
they
going
know.
to be enough.
Because they know.
They know that this is a reality of the times we live in. And until something changes radically in terms of the way the government is going to deal with the media and deal with the truth of things.
But let's be honest, even in Harper's time, there was still anti-Semitism. It wasn't, gone completely.
No.
It escalated, but I don't know, is it fair to say because of Trudeau? No, it's whatever is going on in the world, it just escalated. Doesn't matter who would be in power.
Well, it's
I
always...
mean, it doesn't help that he does what he does, but...
I don't know, maybe could you say 9/11 was the beginning of where it really started to boil to the surface again? I mean, it's always been there throughout our history. I mean, it's always been there. So it just kind of subsides and it boils up again. So what boiled it up? Was it 9/11? Was it the unvetted immigration policies that started in Europe and have now come into North America? It's so hard to understand what
Europe
it is.
is like the 1930s again.
But you have the UN, you have like organizations like UNRWA who were created to just create this universal discourse.
You know what? I wasn't going to say it, but I'm going to say it. What UN? If a United Nation, puts on human rights for women, Saudi Arabia is a member,
Right.
I have nothing to say. and human rights. But human rights for women, Saudi Arabia.
It's all a
There's
joke.
no human rights there.
No, nothing makes sense anymore. We're living in
Sorry,
kind of
maybe,
the bizarro world.
maybe a little bit of human rights.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want people to call me. Maybe a little bit.
I mean, they had a role to play. It used, it has to be revamped. And you see all the countries pulling out. They're tired. Poland, Hungary,
because
Czechoslovakia.
everything is against Israel. Human rights against Israel. Forget all the all the other world. So let's
Right.
forget that avenue. They won't help us.
Well, I'm happy that U.S. is not funding UNRWA anymore, because that was an organization that was just designed to undermine the state of Israel. That's all they were there for.
So let me ask you a question. What does the Jewish Defense League really want to see in this Jewish community in Canada? And actually, from what I understand, it's not only Jewish that support JDL or join the JDL. There's a lot of non-Jewish that actually believe and want to support Israel and the Jewish and against anti-Semitism and so forth.
The JDL, and you're right about that. We have a lot of membership that is non-Jewish who are just so frustrated.
That's great.
With what's going on, that they feel that the JDL is a vehicle for them to not only verbally express their frustration, but to physically be out there and supporting not just the Jewish state, but human rights, free speech. I mean, because those are all our goals. Tell both sides of the story.
That's right.
Human rights. You can't have only.
Don't be ignorant. Learn the truth. Don't just say I hate Israel.
Right.
Oh, you don't know. Find out for yourself. Don't listen to anybody else.
Exactly. So our goal is I guess we need to figure out how to engage the people in this city, the young, not just the young people, but the people who are apathetic, the people who will go to a vigil and then go home and just carry on, or not even show up at the vigil because they had work commitments.
I was there. I was at the vigil.
I was there too.
And it was amazing how many people, and we're going to show some photos, how many people actually showed up.
Packed.
It was like
Wonderful.
packed, and it was like wonderful. The question is, after everybody went home, what are we going to do?
Because we're getting so apathetic. It's almost like,
It's not enough just to be there in the vigil and sing and feel sorry. We have to stop it.
Right. So people need a voice. People have to be out there. People have to confront these leftist narratives.
Without fear.
And people have to confront a lot of the Jewish people who are really, I wouldn't want to call them anti-Zionist, but they just don't see the big picture here at all, and they're supporting the wrong causes and the wrong politicians. And at the end of the day, I don't know if it's money because it's good because their business will profit more, but people are just becoming so self-centered, and I don't want to say narcissistic, but parents are just not encouraging their children to properly understand, what's going on with Israel and why the existence of Israel is so important. And that's why programs like Birthright are so critical, because children finally get an opportunity to see the truth. And that's what we're trying to enlighten people about. And we need more people to help us, and we need more resources to help us so that we can be out there.
And I think the most important thing for JDL is that people understand that there's nothing to fear from the JDL.
Yeah, exactly.
Because,
I mean, what do? We're holding flags out on Dundas Square. We're confronting the hate across the street. Israel, go to the sea. And the hate, and Israel, the Nazi state. Like, God, these are just people who are given talking points, and a lot of them, by the way, are paid. Okay, that's a fact. So these people are out there, and we've seen them in the Palestinian house. They call you up and they say, you report to the Palestinian house at this time, you're going to be on a bus at this time, and you're going down to the Al-Quds rally, and you make sure you take your kids too. It's not optional. So when you're confronting that kind of hateful energy, we need people to counteract that. And that's why we have to encourage our children to stand up and not to be afraid of this, of what's going on. And don't be afraid to show your Jewish star when you're walking around the street. And don't be afraid to wear your yarmulke. I mean, in Europe, they are horrified of that.
But people are afraid because...
They are afraid.
Yeah. Let's be honest. If I'm walking by myself, to an area, I'm being honest, to an area where it's going to
What
be
are you afraid of? Someone's going to attack you?
Yes, when there's a lot of, people that don't like Jews, and I'm by myself, yes, I am. I would
You're
be,
afraid.
I would be terrified, yes.
Right. Right. Well, I see it on the subway.
I'm being honest, yes.
I take the subway down to these rallies often, and it's so funny. So after a lot of people come down to the rallies, and they're wearing, they have a Jewish flag or T-shirt or something. As soon as they get back on the subway, what do? They hide the flag. They take their T-shirt off. Okay, they're afraid.
I wouldn't be afraid. I'm not afraid of. I would be afraid if I was by myself, and I could defend myself. Yeah, and I think every person should not.
Why are we afraid? What's this? Why do we have to be afraid? We're supposed to be living in a free democracy, and we're afraid.
Yes. I have no idea why. This is, I remember my son when he was 13 years old. He wrote an essay about terrorism or something for school, and I'll never forget one line that he wrote. He says, "Why do they hate us? They don't even know us." And that stuck with me.
It's a fear, it's a jealousy,
Yeah,
it's
like
they're afraid of our power. I don't know what it is.
And we own the world.
And we own the world, we control the banking. These are all the...
I know, it's all myth.
The silliness.
It's all myth.
It's all myth.
Yes. I'm going to speak about the young kids. That let's say, the mothers, are also afraid to let their kids,
Exactly.
Okay, but okay, let's speak even to those mothers. There's other things that those kids can do to help JDL that they don't have to be in the front line. There's social media help. There's, right?
Social media is very powerful, but you got to be careful, because they'll shut you down if you get, a little bit too right on your conversations. And so you have to, know how to couch it. Most people today, how many people have like 3 different identities now, or 4, because they keep getting shut down. They have to pop up under a new name. It's ridiculous. But social media can be very...
I've never been shut down. I don't know,
But social media is great. You should forward information.
But they need help. I'm saying there's a lot of things the kids today can do to help JDL with things that they know, like, social media.
Right. Well, they should come to our meetings. We teach people how to become much more proactive. We bring in speakers that empower you, that, we've had...
You teach Krav Maga, too?
We teach Krav Maga.
There you go.
So we teach you physical kind of self-defense. But more important, we really bring in people who can help you understand why you need to support the Jewish people, and particularly you have to support the Jewish state, because...
Well, you have to. There's no other... We don't have any other home. There's only one home.
Yeah,
we have no place to go except Israel. We are strong outside of Israel. It's because we have Israel.
That's right. But the diaspora is weakening.
Yep.
It is weakening, and that's a very
we're
scary thought.
We're gonna get stronger. We're gonna unite, and we're gonna get stronger.
Well, that's exactly what we have to do.
Exactly.
And you look at the new alliances that Israel is creating with the African countries. I think it was just Oman the other day said we're going to recognize Israel finally officially. So people are coming on board, but still we need our people in this city to really support the JDL and to support all the Jewish causes, and to be out there and counteracting these narratives.
Don't just stay on the couch and say, "Oh yes." It's
and when you hear someone
get up and do something.
When you hear someone in your office place bashing Israel, they'll just walk by, stand by, and say, "I'm sorry, that's not true.
Exactly.
That is not the picture. Let me refer you to some documentation that you can read." So you should be armed with information. You should be reading books so that you have the knowledge to actually go into a discourse with a leftist or a Jew or an anti-Zionist, and try to enlighten them. And that's what we try to do every day. We try to enlighten people so that they see the other side, the side that they have never seen because they've never looked for.
I agree, and I suggest to every Jewish person to really get to know your history. If we learn our history and we don't forget our history, then there's a chance it will not repeat itself. But if we don't know, it's going to creep back on us. So learn our own history.
Yep.
Let's talk about
Mayor.
Good old Mayor. So
we're having a gala. Really, it's a dinner for the recognition of all the hard work that Mayor's put into the JDL over the last 35 years.
For the Jewish people.
for the Jewish people. And
That's what motivates him.
he gets, trust me, you should see the emails he gets. He gets people threatening him and death threats, and not just from I'm talking about from the Jewish community who are saying, shut up. You have no right to talk to like this. You're racist, you're misogynist. They call Mayor racist misogynist. It's insanity. And these are some of the Jewish leaders. I don't want to mention their name necessarily on air.
Don't mention their name.
But they're out there. And so Mayor is out there. So this tribute is long overdue.
Mayor.
And finally we're having it. It's going to be wonderful. We have some great speakers. It's an opportunity to learn something. It's an opportunity to talk to people and learn from other like-minded people like yourself. Because if you're coming to this event, you either want to learn about the reality of what's the opportunity to understand what the JDL is about and what we're doing,
right.
or you are part of us already, and we're just trying to reinforce your conviction to continue to support us.
That's great. So we'll put the flyer on so people
Yeah.
can see it for Mayor Munson. And really, I've known Mayor for years, and I know how hard and how passionate he
So
is
passionate.
for the Jewish people. I mean, that's what he's doing it for. He's not doing it for his glory.
No, and he doesn't get paid a penny, and this guy works full-time, 10 hours a day. I have no idea how he does what he does, truthfully.
It's passion for his people.
Passionate.
That's what it is.
It's
That's the
passion.
glory of Mayor. So hope maybe you'll join us in
You should
this
come. If
gala.
you want to come, just you have some contact information they can contact.
It's all on the screen.
It's on the screen. That's great.
They can see it.
You should try to come. It's on November 19th.
Yep.
It's in the evening. The location to be announced, but it will be in Thornhill. Okay. But again, so here we can't even announce the location because of security reasons. Ridiculous, but that's
It's better to be safe than sorry,
Absolutely.
That's, I'd rather go through 2 hours of security
Yeah.
and be safe.
Yeah, and that's what happened. That's what we're trying to achieve, and hopefully this event will bring in some new followers, some new people to support us, and if anything, just educate people as to why they should be supporting us.
Good for you, Bryan. Continue doing the good work that you're doing. And I wish a lot of people will join the JDL, and
Hope so.
lots of success.
Thank
and
you.
come back and talk to us some more.
I will, 100%.
Thank you very much for joining us, and hope to see you next week.